This happened just last week, during my final stretch at home before heading back to college. I went back and forth on whether I should even write this down, because every time I think about it, I get this tight feeling in my chest, like my body remembers something my brain would rather forget. My parents moved into this house right after I graduated high school. They'd been talking about downsizing for years, and once I was out of the picture, they finally went through with it. The timing meant I'd only been there a handful of times before leaving for college. Enough to know the layout, but not enough to feel like it was really home. When they bought the place, they gave me the standard tour. Kitchen, bedrooms, backyard, garage. My dad made a point to mention that the house didn't have a basement, just a crawl space underneath for utilities. He explained it like it was some kind of quirky downside of the house. Old construction, limited access, nothing interesting down there. They were very clear about that. No basement, so I never questioned it. My parents left the night before for a week-long vacation, and I stayed behind to finish packing and enjoy a few quiet days alone before heading back to campus. The first night by myself was uneventful. The second night was when things started to feel off. It was a Tuesday. I was lying in bed, lights off, phone face down on my nightstand, trying to fall asleep. The house was quiet in that way only empty houses get. No TV noise, no footsteps, just that faint hum of electricity behind the walls. Then I heard it, a tapping sound. It was coming from directly beneath my bedroom floor. Not random, not irregular, a steady, deliberate tapping. Same rhythm, same volume, over and over. Except it didn't stop. I lay there for a good 5 minutes, listening. The tapping never changed, never sped up, never slowed down. Just tap, 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 like someone drumming their fingers against wood. My room is on the first floor, which meant whatever I was hearing was coming from underground. That's when it really started to bother me, because according to my parents, there was nothing down there but a crawl space. No room, no storage, no place for someone to stand. Eventually, after what felt like forever, the tapping stopped. Just ended. No fade out, no final knock. It was there 1 second and gone the next. The next morning, I felt stupid for even being creeped out. Daylight has a way of doing that. Everything looks normal, safe. That night, around the same time, it started again. The same tapping, only louder, closer. I fell asleep eventually, but I didn't sleep well. The third night was when things crossed a line. It started with tapping, just like before, but then I heard something else. Dragging, a slow scraping sound, like something heavy being pulled across a rough surface. It would scrape, pause, then scrape again. Occasionally, there was a sharper sound, like claws raking against wood or concrete. It sounded purposeful, not random, not mechanical. I started wondering if my parents had been wrong. Maybe there was a basement they didn't know about, or some sealed utility room beneath the house. Either way, sitting alone in the dark with those sounds beneath me was unbearable. The next morning, I called my parents. My dad immediately suggested animals. Told me to check the crawl space entrance under the porch. He sounded genuinely concerned, but not alarmed. I didn't want to do it. Every instinct in my body told me not to. But I also didn't want to keep sleeping above whatever was making those noises without knowing what it was. I held my breath the entire time. There was nothing down there. No animals, no nests, no signs of anything living. My dad told me that settled it and not to worry anymore. That afternoon, I decided to look around the outside of the house. I figured if something was getting under there, it had to be coming from somewhere. That's when I noticed the pile. Old construction materials leaned up against the side of the house. Lumber, tarps, concrete blocks. Stuff that looked like it had been sitting there for years. I started moving it, expecting maybe a hole or broken vent. What I found instead was a door. A storm door, half painted over, completely hidden behind the debris. I pulled it open. Into a basement. I stood there for a long time, just staring. My parents had been wrong, completely wrong. I didn't want to go down there, but I did. The basement smelled like rot and old food. There were empty containers scattered around. Someone had been living there, and not recently. The wooden supports were covered in scratch marks, tallies carved deep into the wood. On one wall were drawings, people, animals, distorted, twisted. I didn't stay long. I called my parents immediately. They were shocked. My dad asked me over and over if I was sure no one was down there. They said they were coming home early. I went out and bought a heavy-duty padlock and locked the storm door from the outside. That night, I woke up to violent banging. Someone was trying to get back in. I looked out the window just in time to see a figure sprinting across the backyard and disappear into the dark. The police searched the house the next day, found nothing. I left for college, but I don't feel better because someone lived beneath that house, and I don't know where they went. I grew up in a small town near the Montana-Idaho border. Nothing really happens out there. That's why this next part still sticks with me. It was late August, one of those mornings where summer feels like it's already leaving. On my way to work, I saw a light blue sedan pulled off on the shoulder of the highway. No hazards, no one inside. I drove past it. That afternoon, it was still there. This time, the driver's door was wide open. I called it in.
A week later, it was on the news. A missing person. Same car. No foul play, they said.
I didn't believe that. I helped with the search. We found a shack hidden in the brush, empty food, water bottles, a bullet hole in the wall. Then the police shut it down. When I went back later, the shack was gone, like it never existed. This last thing happened just last August. I went solo camping, somewhere isolated, somewhere quiet. The first night was perfect. The second night, I saw a light moving through the trees. I called out. It went dark. Something ran. That night, I woke up to someone standing outside my tent. When I spoke, it charged. It screamed, not like a person should. I fought it off with a knife. It ran. I stayed awake until sunrise and left. I haven't camped alone since, and I don't think I ever will again.